What is up, DTube Steam blockchain? So today I want to talk about that math is my new favorite friend. So what I kind of learned now in crypto is if you're good at math, you don't have to worry about so much else because we're playing with numbers, okay? So if you got the number thing correct, then you can get some really good deals in crypto. So I looked at my Steam earnings for the last 2 years. It's around 11,000 Steam. And it's around 11 Steam, I think, per video or so. So you can kind of see that, I mean, you can calculate a lot of things, like a lot of future performance. It's quite predictable. Like if you're really starting to look at the numbers and how much ownership you have in a network, you can kind of start to predict kind of how you will perform looking at past data. And you can kind of also project then in the future how this data is going to perform. And if you're really good at math, you can find amazing deals in ownership in new tokens that other people don't pay attention to. So most people are too obsessed with the fiat value. They're not looking at how much ownership are they getting in the network. Now you can run this math and compare to other networks how much ownership you have in a specific network by going to, for example, a calculator that can calculate percentage. So a big thing I do these days is just looking at percentages in various networks, and maybe a new token comes out and I see how much am I getting, how much ownership, how much stake am I getting in this network, is it a good deal? If sometimes it can be 100x better deal than something else. Okay, so when you're new to crypto, you don't know anything, but so it's like you have a learning curve or maybe 2 years, but then you start to learn that most people are not paying attention to, for example, math, because maybe it's scary for them, more complex for them or something. Maybe they're just looking at the fiat value. But what actually is important is to get in early into something that is amazing. And because the ownership, like you decide that the first 1 or 2 years in a network. So for example, Steam decided that 2016, 2017, who would have the lion's share of the network. And then everything else kind of depends on that, because you can't really go back and change so much of that later. So if you're really good at math, you can find deals everywhere, okay? And this is not fiat deals. Like this is like you know, if you have a better product, or if there's a better product that you are getting into, and it's just better, it's like it innovates and you have more ownership in it, like naturally the regular market, like the price should kind of start to kind of follow that, because more smarter people eventually going to start to look at it and they realize, because for example, if you find a 100x better deal in something, that you get maybe 100x more ownership in a network for the same amount of fiat money, eventually probably more and more people are going to start to discover that. But if you're in early then, and let's say it goes to exactly the same kind of level as the other network, then it would go up 100x. Okay, and the other network, and if the other network also is not innovating as much, that one may also go down in value, you know. So you can get this like double dip effect, which is kind of fascinating. So that you first get more ownership, and then also that the fiat increases in value, and then also that you have more time over now to sort of look at even more projects that may have amazing deals. Now, these amazing deals do not come that often, maybe once or twice per year, and you really have to pay attention a lot and really have to study something a lot. For example, a token, study math, and so on, and use critical thinking to ask yourself also, like, is this something that's really good? So that's what I'm doing a lot. Like, math is my new favorite friend, because I can find these amazing deals that other people haven't discovered yet, because they are maybe not looking that much ahead into the future. So for example, you can use math in a way where you're looking at it from maybe 5 or 10 years in the future, and you can see if you can get amazing, interesting deals. One thing I see with Bitcoin, for example, is I see them do this mistake of, like, they're just happy with like linear rewards, or like tiny bit more, maybe like, oh, 30% gain this year. While in fact, people that were in early in Bitcoin, they got a 2 million X. So why did you lower your standards? Why don't you try to find the next 1000x coin or something like that, or 1000x more ownership? So there are many coins now where you can get 1000x more, or they're not many coins, but they're kind of coming, a few, where you can find amazing deals where you get 1000x more ownership in 1 year if you work on it a little bit, compared to the ownership that you got in the older network. And 1000x more power and influence in the network, that's not a small thing, okay? That's quite a big deal. So math really is my favorite friend. On my Galaxy S20 Ultra, on my Galaxy S10 Plus, I always use the math or the calculator function, playing with numbers, experimenting with them, trying to understand what they mean, and trying to find like, is this really worth this? Should it actually be worth it? Or is this overvalued? Or like, why does this have value? And I do a lot of this because, you know, you've seen it, like how it has played out, for example, on Steam, and it's kind of fascinating, these ways where people can generate value from nothing, and it's kind of fascinating to see how you can perfect those systems and make them even better. And yeah, so yeah, math is my new best friend because I can find better ownerships in networks. And you really want like influence, right, in many ways. Like the fiat is nice a little bit because you may need it in the world, but outside of that, you may just want to look at, how can I grow my influence, or how can I grow my power in this network, or yeah. So math, my new favorite friend. I love it. Fascinating thing. Numbers are very, very cool stuff. And yeah, so that's what I want to talk a little bit about in this video. Have a great day, DTube and Steam blockchain. Bye bye.